Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Purple Nuna Podcast. I am Stephanie Conti, and I am here with frame 17 to my frame 7, Savanna Lanausse.
I guess I'm flattered.
It's a little bit of a weak intro, but with what we're talking about today, there's not a lot going on with what we can do with the intro. That's for sure.
No, yeah. So for what it is, I love it.
Perfect. Now, how are you doing, Savanna?
Good. I'm doing good. I got some new skincare today, so I'm excited.
Ooh, little self-care, little self-love. What you get?
I got a little CeraVe.
Oh, okay. We're going with the professional stuff, huh?
It's not that expensive. I got it from Walgreens. And then I got some night oil, so that's exciting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Scandalous. Night oil, not day oil. Whoa.
No, it's night oil. But no, yeah, I'm excited to try them out. What about you? What's up with you?
Not much. Just took a nice little slap in my bank account on Friday from when the Criterion sale. So last time we talked about what we were going to get.
Yeah.
Did you order anything yet from the Criterion sale?
No, I haven't. I narrowed down my choices, but I have not pulled the trigger yet.
Yeah, I mentioned some good picks last week, and I only got one that I had mentioned. And I guess I wasn't in a good mindset, and I just bought the most depressing films I could have bought. I was just like, why not? And I was like, I'm in a mood.
Share with everyone, what did you buy?
I bought Come and See.
Oh, great movie. It looks like...
I bought your favorite. I bought two, not one, but two Lars von Trier films.
Oh, nice.
Because, I love making you proud. I got Breaking the Waves. And then I got a non-Criterion, The House That Jack Built. So I bought that. I pulled the plug because I've been looking for it because it's one of those movies where I'm like, I do want it on DVD so that way I can visit back to it. But this is like the first time I'm actually seeing that it's available for sale. And I'm screwed because it's the director's cut.
Ow! From Lars himself.
From Lars himself. So, if it's director's cut and what we saw wasn't director's cut, I'm screwed. And then I think I got one more. Oh, yes. I got The Night Porter.
What is that?
It's I believe it's an Italian film by Liliane Cavalli. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But essentially it's bad. Like it's about so first of all, World War II is the setting.
World War II films you got, huh?
Yeah, I got two. I guess I got two World War II films. But this one is more like a concentration camp survivor gets back with her boyfriend, and the boyfriend's kind of was her torturer and a Nazi during the Second World War. Like I said, I wasn't in the right headspace when I bought this stuff.
Controversial.
I mean, if I was gonna at least I didn't buy Solo.
Okay. All right. Wait a second. I gotta talk about that. We're in this Facebook group on Facebook. Okay, we're in this Criterion group on Facebook, and do you know what I saw? A lot of people's choices. It was
what is up with these backyard barbecues with Solo playing? There's so many images. It's like, happy 4th, guys. We're watching Solo in our front yard. Like, what?
Dude, it's so
funny. You must hate your neighbors.
That's oh my God, I didn't think of that. I hope they have a private property. Dude, I've just been seeing a lot of people watching Solo. #1 pick for the sale, Solo. And I'm like, guys, what's wrong?
And it's been look, people can like Solo. I don't have an issue if you like Solo. It's just the amount of people who like Solo and the amount of people who talk about Solo in these group chats. It's just bro, there's 2,000 other Criterions you could have picked to watch during your barbecue, and you subjected yourself, your friends, and your neighbors to the visuals and to the sounds of Solo?
I just thought that was hilarious. I just thought that obviously, like Stephanie said, if you like it, that's cool. But like, just the amount of people that are just raving all the time, and that's just their choice, number one choice. And there was this person on Facebook that had like 6 different kinds. Did you see that?
What do you mean 6 different kinds? Like 6 different DVDs?
DVD sets and editions of Solo.
Wow. I
And he
mean,
was, like, showing
maybe we're
off
missing.
some, like,
Maybe
pride.
we're missing. Maybe there's like we're just missing something. Maybe because we haven't seen it yet, there's just this disconnect. Maybe once we see it, we'll be like, oh, we get it. We get why you brought Solo to the cookout, to the barbecue.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not making fun of everybody. It makes me laugh when I see it. It caught me off guard.
I think it's just out of all the films that people could have chosen, the fact that Solo just keeps coming up all the time.
It catches me by surprise a lot.
Yeah, because like, and I've never, like, before, like when I got into the Criterion, like I heard of Solo obviously, but whenever I went on Criterion or looked up Criterion things, I never found like an insane amount of Solo content until now. And I wonder, like, I don't know if maybe an anniversary happened,
maybe,
or if maybe Solo's just in right now. It's the in thing to like. But yeah, it's so, like, I see it all the time. And I think it even sold out. I think it sold out during the sale. I know it was on like when you go on the Barnes and Noble sale for the bestsellers for Criterions, it's on the bestsellers list. So maybe we really are missing out.
I mean, I also think it's a very, like, can you rent that movie? Can you even rent that movie? Like, is it on Amazon and stuff? Because I also feel like maybe people feel uncomfortable doing that and they rather just own it.
I mean, I could see, but I think it's not so much, like I said, if there was a rise in Solo on the bestsellers list, I wouldn't have paid any attention. But the fact that I also see it nonstop on Facebook, like, I'm wondering if I'm following the tag of Solo. Like, I'm seeing a Solo post every 3 days.
Yeah, same. I don't know. It's definitely a little concerning, but hey, if that's your pick, that's your pick. I find it a little funny. I'm just like, all right.
The cookout photo of people watching it outside on a projector.
That was my favorite.
Immaculate. That was just like, I think you were the one who you texted me. You were like, "What's this?" Like, that would be one of those movies where, because I've shown weird movies at like our movie nights when we had with friends and stuff like that. Yeah. I've shown Tusk, things that people are gonna go, yeah, Stephanie, you're never gonna pick again. But I wouldn't pick something like Solo. Could you imagine if no one else saw Solo until that moment outside in a cookout? What an experience. What a memory.
I mean, if you're gonna watch it, maybe that's the way to do it.
Oh man, I just had this thought, like, maybe Solo and like grilling or barbecuing is just like a good combo. Like, what if it really is? What if the only way to properly experience Solo is like a good cookout, like just going to the grill and cooking up some wieners, franks, and burgers.
I mean,
and maybe that's how you have to. Is there, like, maybe Pier Pasolini, like, thought of all his movies at a cookout?
I mean, look, if you're gonna do it, go big or go home.
I mean, true. Very, very true. But I don't know. Maybe I kind of want to get an apron now that says like some weird affiliation with Solo. Like, just be like cooking Franks and watching Solo.
Dude, that's ours. That is ours. We gotta trademark that. That's ours.
Oh my god, can someone for Christmas please give it to me on an apron? I don't care if I haven't seen the movie yet. Just imagine like your dad just cooking burgers, and then you turn around and he's wearing that apron.
And you're just like,
that's the best.
You gotta give it to your dad. Just be like, yeah. That's what's in right now.
They won't understand. Be like, yeah. And he's like, oh, this is cool. This is what Purple Moon talks about. Oh my god, that's so good. Oh, I really want that now. If someone could please make that happen for me, like, let me know. I'll commission you. If you can make me an apron that says just, grilling Franks and watching Solo, or grilling dogs and watching Solo, whatever your preference is, just let me know. This is an urgency now.
Nah,
This has become a full urgency.
We do got to make this happen for you, for sure. Sure, we got to make it happen. Somebody handle it.
I'd be so proud wearing it too. I'd be like, look at my apron.
Your boyfriend's gonna be like, what the hell? Like, what the actual hell?
Oh my god, I'm actually crying. I'd be so proud of my little apron.
Stephanie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. So today, we are going to talk about two. Sorry, I'm still thinking about it. Crap. All right, we're going to be talking about two short films and a movie from the Criterion Collection, and the short films are from the Criterion channel. So first off, we're going to be talking about a short film called Seide, also known, it translates to silk. And so Seide is a short film, and it's a 13-minute short film that came out in 2015. And young Seide lives in a secluded mountain village in the heart of Kyrgyzstan. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. She loves her freedom to ride with her horse and the closest soul she has, and enjoy playing with the village boys, yada yada. But things start turning downward for her when she realizes that her family is trying to marry her off. And in her culture, when you are married off, you have to, for some reason, kill a horse. I don't know if it's for good luck or for what. But it is written and directed by Elnura Osmanaliva. That's a long last name. Osmanaliva. And it stars Seide is played by I could not. This is a short film. There's not a lot of interviews, so I could not find how to pronounce the person's name. Okay. But Seide is played by Kaliman Kalibek Kizes.
Okay,
that sounded good to me.
Yeah.
But Savanna, what did you think about Seide or Silk?
I really liked the main girl's performance, because she did a lot with, I think, a little. In the film, it's interesting because she never really speaks until one point of the movie. And I just think just her facial expressions, she tells a lot through her body language, which I always think is impressive. But I don't know. I thought this movie was really, really good because it does talk a lot about it. I feel like it hits a lot of different things, I mean, one being like women's rights and all that stuff. But I just thought, like, obviously, the part where she doesn't speak for most of the film, and I just thought, like, very, very symbolic of what she is going through, how, oppression, all that stuff. So I thought the film was impressive, and for its only, I think, like, 12-minute mark, it did do a lot. So I was very, very impressed with what I saw. What about you?
I completely agree. I thought that it was shot very well. And Elnura is actually a fun fact. Because I was reading more about the film and about the director, seeing if she did anything more. And two things I thought were cool was that she went to NYU, and she, at the time, was actually pregnant while making this movie. And she comes from Kyrgyzstan. So I thought the movie was shot very well. And I liked almost this symbolism of this girl, Silk, and the horse kind of having nowhere to go. Like, they're kind of just at, like, they don't know what to do. They're just at this point in their life where it's like, there's nothing that we can do in this moment. So there's a point where the horse, where she's telling the horse to leave and to flee away so she doesn't have to kill the horse. But the horse is too attached to her and won't leave. We don't see anything, but the last final image of the short film is you see Silk in a wedding dress, and you hear some traditional style singing, and one can only assume that, sadly, that nothing could have been done. At least for me, I assumed that the horse sadly did have to die.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume because she's in a wedding dress and the wedding is, I assume it happened, clearly.
Mhm.
The horse did have to die, which was really sad. That's what I got out of it.
And I wonder, is it not safe to assume, but I mean, is it kind of like, do you think that she internally, like, died with the horse?
Wow, that's an interesting take.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I think you're right in a way because I interpreted as like I guess her childhood being over. Or the life
Ooh, that's a good one.
or like the life she did have is over because this essentially is like a little girl, in a lot of ways and because of her family's situation, there's a lot of comments about her, oh, we can't send her to study. So
Mm-hmm.
the only thing we could do for her is marry her off. So essentially she's put no choice in the situation. They just tell her one day, you're getting married. And she finds out because she listens and everything. So I kind of saw it as like, okay, like the horse is kind of, I guess, like symbolism for like the life
Mm-hmm.
we had, but it's also sort of like a very loyal friendship because the most touching part is when the horse won't leave, and they're
Yeah.
kind of in the snow, like snuggling, and I was like, oh my god, horse.
Yeah, and the horse very cute when she took off the saddle and then it
Yeah,
just started like like rubbing its back in the snow. Very cute, very good horse. I enjoyed that horse.
10 out of
Um, I was shocked at how modern the story is because I thought from the beginning when we start watching it, I thought it was going to be taken a few years back. But if you look at all the technology and everything, it's definitely within the past 10 years. So I was very surprised at how modern this story was set in. And I wonder, I'm not too familiar with Kyrgyzstan culture, but I wonder if this is still a very prevalent issue.
I think it's safe to assume that because a lot of countries still do arranged marriages and unfortunately
Mm-hmm.
still do child brides and marriages.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that country specifically, but this is still going on to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I think that's what also the film is bringing attention to, that this is the situation for many girls who are born into essentially poverty.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So what would you rate Seide?
Um, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Ooh, okay. I give it an 8. I give it an
Really?
8.
Why 8?
I don't know. I felt like not that there was some missing, but I think I wanted it to be a little bit longer. I think what would have really done it for me was if maybe there was and this is obviously this could be someone's retelling of a personal experience. So I mean, if it's remaining accurate, then that's that. But if this is definitely like a written narrative perspective, I kind of wish I would have seen some more drama. I think I would have loved to see like an argument of this girl kind of fighting for her childhood and fighting for the horse.
No, I get what you're saying, and that's part of the reason I'm giving it an 8 because I did feel like I wanted to see more.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason maybe she didn't speak up is because she was kind of born into the society where women don't.
Yeah.
Kind of what I thought. But I definitely would have liked to see more. I actually did want to see the wedding and what her life would have been like that. So yeah, I give it an 8 because I did want to see more for sure.
Gotcha. All right, so that one is available. So all of them are available on the Criterion channel. But the next one that we're going to be talking about is a Chinese short film called A Gentle Night that came out in 2017. And it is by Ji Yang and written and directed by Ji Yang.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about in a nameless city in China, a mother with her daughter missing refuses to go gentle into this good night. So obviously that is a play on Dylan Thomas's favorite, one of his most famous poetries, Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. And Savanna, what did you think about, because this short film was kind of added abruptly because I was like with all the films that we talk about, I wanted to add a little bit more of a narrative story. Yeah. I wanted something a little bit deeper. So I just stumbled across this because I was going to pair it with another film within a few weeks, but after reading it, I was like, no, I kind of want to watch it now. So you literally just finished watching it. What were your thoughts?
It was wild. Like, at
Mm-hmm.
first it starts off slow, and it is kind of sad because they're these parents and they're there, like, reporting their missing daughter. But when the mom takes off, it's definitely a ride. And it is one of those films that insinuate a lot, which I love. I love movies that make you think and have to guess.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole movie, I think, gives you sort of hints to what's going on to this girl. And the ending was wow. So I was
Yeah.
just like very floored with the film. I really, really liked it. It's definitely my favorite of what we watched so far.
Out of the three, yeah, for sure. And I do think it's a really, really well done short film overall.
Yeah.
It has a lot of power, and more specifically, it reminds me of episode 1 of Decalogue.
Interesting. I didn't think of that.
It reminds me of Decalogue with the episode with the kids on the skiing on the lake. So it reminds me of that episode of Decalogue.
I can see that.
But I thought Gentle Night, not only in reference to, I think my favorite aspect is the reference to the poem and how everyone in this, in this world is kind of passive with this girl missing. It's very like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And I think this whole film, like, and Do Not Go Gentle into the Good Night is kind of like, I don't know, like some voice of reasoning in the mother's head saying like, no, keep finding her. Do not rest. Do not assume whatever. Just keep fighting for it. Which I absolutely loved. And another favorite part, visually of Gentle Night was whenever things would start, you could tell the mother didn't have a lot of dialogue, especially when she's in her own element.
No, yeah.
But I love there was this almost symbolic visual representation. When thoughts would start racing in her head, if you look in the background and the noise and everything else that you heard was complete chaos at the time when it seemed like her thoughts were racing and going to, extreme thoughts and whatever. And although she didn't really express her thoughts, you can see the worrisome on her face.
Yeah.
So I really like, especially the part where she's at the restaurant. Oh, and I thought it was so good when she was at the restaurant with, she has the vision of her sitting at the restaurant with her daughter.
Yeah.
Just that little quick clip and how it just showed like, oh no, like she's alone and like kind of like this is really eating on her conscience. I absolutely love that. The point where she hears, oh, they found a body in the lake. And then things start rushing. And then everything is brought up to a level 10 on the anxiety. Like you hear all the sirens, you hear the flare guns going off. I thought was just done so well. And even like myself, I found myself like almost holding my breath because of how anxiety inducing that scene was. So I was very impressed with it. But I want to know, what is your take on the ending? Because it kind of leaves everything not necessarily to your own interpretation, but it definitely has a calm ending compared to everything else. So what is your take on the ending?
So I think the ending, for me, I interpreted as it was her daughter that they found. The reason I think that is because the doctor asks question after question after question. And usually I would assume that, like, if it wasn't very similar to what they found, the doctor would be like, no, I'm sorry, we found somebody this age, or we found somebody, a boy, we found this person. But the fact that he kept saying like, oh, like, how old was she? How did she go missing? What's your name? What was her name? And then he kind of just goes, okay, like, wait a second, like, wait here. I think he either was trying to go confirm that was her daughter or go get somebody to explain to her what happened. And I think the last shot of her just sitting there, for me, I think she knows. And I think she's sort of accepting that she did everything she could. Because this woman went out and just knocked on people's doors. She just had a minute. And like when like you were talking about the scene with the sirens, she went at it. Like there was almost this instinct of like, oh my God, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
So that's how, what about you? What are your theories?
I think I agree, especially because the way it ends, I focused on her because one of the things I noticed kind of picked up in volume was her breathing.
Yeah.
And the volume of her breathing was purposely raised up. And I noticed, because I watched the ending twice, because I was like, let's see. And when I rewind, the film ends on her exhale. So I wondered if that was also like meaning like her daughter is gone with that final exhale. Because I believe the poem is like rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light, do not go gentle, where it's like, you fight.
Yeah.
You fight until you can no longer. And I think that exhale just was just like symbolism for her knowing she lost in a way. She lost her daughter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very like, I think it's very realistic too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, I wouldn't watch this if someone themselves lost a child, because I do feel like this woman did a great performance of a mother just kind of like on the hunt. Now, I do have another theory. Can I ask you your opinion on it?
Absolutely.
What did you think of the scene with the teacher not wanting to be involved?
So as soon as they were okay, all
Yeah,
right.
I need to talk to you about that.
So as soon as they were mentioning the teacher, that's when I was like, like as soon as they mentioned it, because I had a feeling it might have gone in that route, just because it's very stereotypic in terms of that situation in reality.
Yeah.
Usually girls of that age, or girls who go missing, end up missing because of a predator. So I kind of wonder, I was like, oh, is the teacher behind it? And then even the fact too, then he was like, no, I don't want to go to the recording station, or I don't want to go recording station, police station, because
Yeah.
it'll affect, things and stuff. It's like, so you don't want to actively help save a life. You
Yeah.
don't want this child to go home to her mother or father. Like, that to me, like, and so I liked how also in that scene too, where it's from a far back angle, and so when they start bickering and having their little spurt, you kind of see all the neighboring lights turn on and people start peeping their head out and stuff like that, getting nosy, wanting to know what's going on. But did you think that the teacher was a little sus?
Very suspicious, because another thing that got my attention was she just kept saying, like, please cooperate. Please
Yeah.
cooperate. Like, meaning, like, they went to him at some point and he just didn't want to be involved. So it almost seemed like she was begging for, like, the truth. Like, please tell me, like, what you know. Please tell me, like, if there's something else. Like, tell the police what you know. And the fact that he was just like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I can't. Like, people will talk. People will think, like, whatever bad of me. I was just like, And then they found the daughter. I mean, we can assume they found the daughter in the lake.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a little girl that ran away or there was an accident. Like, something happened. And I think the film gave us our suspect in a very subtle way, which was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if he isn't a suspect, he's a part of the problem. At the end of the day, being, dismissive, very passive over a situation like this, and is a part of the problem. And when it comes to things like that, even if they don't have any information at all to give, the fact that people who don't want to give information, they're like, oh no, blah blah blah. That's just saying out loud, like, I don't care about this girl's whereabouts, and I don't care what happens to her. So even though at the end of the day he might not have not been, he might have not been her killer or whatever it might be, he's still a part of the issue. He still has some type of involvement in her death because he didn't try to help anyone.
Absolutely. So I think the film gives us our, whether he did it or he didn't, like, he is the central villain for me.
Yeah. And I think also I think we can say that about two other characters in that story. The father, we can say about. The father doesn't do anything. The father is just very, like, even when it comes, like, when they're in the police station giving information, the father doesn't say much.
That's true. And he also talks about, like, oh, she needs discipline. You should have done something. You should have disciplined her. Or as if, like, oh, when she gets back, you discipline her. Yeah, and, like, when his wife is like, I'm going to go get breakfast for tomorrow at, like, 2 a.m, or, like, however late it is, he's just like, cool.
Yeah, like, okay, whatever.
Meanwhile, like, this woman is distraught, and he's just kind of watching TV. Very strange.
And even the police officer, when he was taking down information, he kind of just it's more cold. It's not warm, the conversation that he has with them. And it kind of like it just showed that there was like, because they brought in like someone they were going to arrest that was pretty rowdy, and so the police officer talking to them gets up and sees outside, and that pretty much was like, oh hey, like that right there more important than your daughter.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the rating?
10.
Yeah, 10. And fun fact, so one thing I didn't know, this movie won, short film, won a Palme d'Or. I didn't know they gave Palme d'Ors at the Cannes Film Festival for short films.
Interesting, right?
So I was like, new goal alert. Sweet.
Very
all right, and now we're on to our next film. So, Savannah, do you want to give us a little synopsis on 24 Frames?
Yes. Okay. So 24 Frames is a newer film that came out 2017. It's an experimental project made by filmmaker Abbas Kiarostami in the last...
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. I'm happy. Yeah. In the last 3 years of his life, it is a collection of 24.5-minute films inspired by still images, paintings, photography, and art. Yeah, and that's it.
So I wrote down while watching the film, if you guys are like, oh, I've seen that movie, refresh me. I wrote a little step-by-step on what all the frames are. So I'll do a little summary.
Oh, that's nice. I just did an overall critique.
It's going to be a very informal way of me summarizing these scenes, and also it's going to be very quick too. So just to refresh your memory, and if for those who don't want to see the film but want to know about it, these are the images that show up. 1. A village painting. 2. Our car pulling up to see a horse in a snowy field. 3. Beach with sleeping cows. 4. Deer in snow. 5. Single deer in snow. 6. A window with a singing woman off screen. I assumed it's a singing woman. 7. A pier during a storm. 8. Waves in an afternoon. 9. Safari rock with lions. 10. Sheep around a tree in winter. 11. Coyotes in the snow. 12. The shadow of a bird off a window curtain. 13. Beach with seagulls. 14. Abandoned building bird watching. That was a mouthful. 15. People gazing at the Eiffel Tower featuring guitar singer. And I wrote in parentheses Yoko Ono because I thought it was Yoko Ono at first. 16. Shipyard. 17. Little birds in snow. 18. Cage snow. I seemed like it was in a cage. I don't know. 19, cows in the groves. 20, snowy window view. 21, skylight outdoor view. 22, snowy beach with cute dog. 23, logs, hashtag Twin Peaks vibes. And 24, someone falling asleep to a movie on a computer.
It's a Wonderful Life, I think, no?
I think so.
But that could have been another, I don't know, that could have been another movie too.
Well, I mean, so all of these, so I like the idea of this film. I do say I like the idea. However, I do wish it was more human-oriented. I wish it was more people involved, not as many deers and cows.
I agree. I think this would have been a very cool, even if they did like paintings with humans in it. If you really wanted to focus on art, I thought the village painting, I thought it was cool, and I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be like historical paintings come to life with like stories. I thought that was awesome, but it was more definitely lone animal themed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because even in the village painting, you can see people there, but the only thing that really moves in that one, at least, is the animals and some fog that comes up from the chimneys.
Yeah.
But and the only other one that you see people moving is the Eiffel Tower one, which I kind of don't and do like that one. I think it's just because I wish there was a little bit more movement, and I wish the scene at least or the photo, I wish had a little bit more busyness to it, you know?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Because all the other ones felt like at some point, especially like the second frame, which is the car pulling up to see horses. That was a lot more dynamic than all the other ones.
Yeah.
It involved like a new camera motion. It involved more something closely that we would relate to a film than a picture.
Yeah.
So I do think some of them were nice. Some of them were very aesthetically pleasing. But I think there was just a little disconnect, at least for me. I think the Eiffel Tower one really could have been better if it was a busier crowd. And I don't know, maybe it's just because maybe animals were focused, either because that was just a preference by the director, or maybe in terms of editing, it was a lot easier. But come on, the real winner of all the frames is the snowy beach with the cute barking dog. That one.
He was lovely. He was
awesome. He was awesome. He was fantastic. What a riveting performance.
I loved him. Good job. Good job.
Now, there are two things I want to say that I really appreciate about the film.
Mm-hmm.
Frame 24, someone falling asleep to a movie. What I enjoyed is that when you're looking at the film, it's going frame per frame. Just like this is.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
I enjoy it. I was like, oh, it's moving frame per frame. Abbas, I see you. So I like that. And then also, in every scene, or at least almost every scene, there is a crow. And I had two theories about the crow in terms of what it could have meant. So Abbas actually this film was made posthumously. Pretty much he had passed away before the film was released.
Okay.
So I wondered two things about the crows. One, if black crows, because black crows, at least in our culture, represents more dark, more evil, more ghostly. I wondered if it might have represented him kind of visiting these scenes while passed.
That's cool. I didn't think of that.
I wondered that. Or my second theory was in actually Arabic culture. There's a thing called divination, crow divination. And that is where people, that is where you can tell foreseeable events by watching how crows interact. So I wondered, I mean, I don't know. I feel like either one could be fair game, probably leaning more towards the second. But do you know why? Why do you feel there were so many crows?
Okay, I do have a theory on the film itself that has to do with the crows.
Okay.
So, I thought that the movie was about, or it was sort of letting you come to the story and even bringing like your own story to it. Mm-hmm. Meaning like, okay, like the window, the scene with the window and the crow and the woman singing. I feel like for a lot of people that can either unlock a memory. So maybe you had a window like that. That was the first thing that came to my mind because my aunt has a window like that. So I was like, oh, that kind of looks like that. And I was thinking about that.
Or thinking Aunt Marian? Because I was thinking Aunt Marian.
I was.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. that window looks familiar. But I also feel like human nature, we also can make up a story. So for some of the other frames, I was just kind of like, okay, let's see, what story can I make out of this? What could this be? So I thought the film was about sort of making your own story from what the visuals are, sort of how you look at a painting. And I thought the crows were supposed to be us in the story.
Ooh, whoa, that's very Inception-like, Savanna.
But now that you're saying it's him, I think that makes a little bit more sense because he's like, the overseer. Does that, yeah. I like that.
I feel like everything is fair game. I mean, it's definitely, like you said, like this is kind of supposed to invoke memories or invoke you to tell a story. I think whether we look at it as him kind of overseeing us, as us a part of the story, or as crow divination, I think it's all fair game. But that I didn't think about that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Besides the lovable doggy one, which what a cutie. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Oh, the first one, the village painting.
Yeah, because I think I appreciated the fact that art was included in this film because I always like seeing that mixture. And I kind of did wish she did go a little bit more that route because I think there are some cool paintings out there that you could sort of make a story behind or whatever. So that was definitely my favorite. And I did like the end one because of movies, of course. But
I also wonder if the person sleeping at the computer was supposed to represent us because this movie is a little bit slow. It not a little bit. It's a lot of it slow. There's no narrative. It's just seeing little details come in and out of essentially one still image. I still think it's good, but I definitely had to skip. I probably could only watch it like 1 minute at a time. So I just kind of skipped through because the 4 minutes and I just make sure obviously as soon as I saw the dog come up, I was like, wait, I gotta restart this one. This just got good. But yeah, I think I wondered. I was like, oh, is that supposed to be us because the person was sleeping at the computer? And I actually read. I don't know if it was Abbas, but I read a quote that was someone like a director saying oh, I prefer movies that make you sleep, blah, blah, blah. And I thought I could have sworn it was said by Abbas. So I was like, is this it? Is this the experience you wanted for us?
No, it's definitely not a movie, in my opinion, you're going to watch more than once. Or let's be honest, if we weren't doing this podcast and I clicked on this movie and I found out it was about this, I don't think I would watch it through because it's not.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'll. I don't see anyone going and saying 24 Frames is my favorite film. I don't see that, but I can see a lot of movie people, including us, appreciating this film, and especially a lot of photographers too.
Oh yeah,
finding appreciation within this film. Do you think with a film like this, do you think it has its place in the Criterion Collection?
Yeah, because the Criterion Collection is all about bringing movies that, number one, in my opinion, are different. And two, it is very artistic. And it is something that every person who is in cinema, is in filmmaking, directing, cinematography, should watch this movie. Just to see what he does with it and maybe try to understand where he's going with it. So that's why I think it's in the Criterion. But again, this will be the only time I ever watch this movie unless I need to watch it for educational purposes. So there's drawbacks, but also positives.
Yeah, and I think also this was, for a film director, what a way, because he, like I said, passed away during the making of this. I think what a great way to end, to kind of end your career as a director in a way, to go on, and pass with what you have and leave this behind, I think is fantastic. Because at the end of the day, there's so many Abbas films that we could look at, but now we can see how Abbas viewed films and photography himself. So I like that, and I do appreciate that fact. What would you rate 24 Frames?
So I think we have to rate this in more of a technique, because obviously as a film.
Yeah, I think we can rate it more from a meaning / technical aspect.
Yeah, if we're going to do that, I would give it a 7.5 because I think the cinematography is beautiful. I think what he was trying to go for is beautiful. Unfortunately, there were a lot of frames I didn't understand. I don't know what some of them were about, and some of them I really got and appreciated. So for that, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay, I say 7 just because I do think for me the strongest suit is the meaning and the editing. I was very impressed with the editing and how seamless and how flawless things seemed to feel. So I thought that was very impressive. But I really wish there was more. It felt at some point that was more of a planet Earth type, and I didn't want that. I'd rather had seen. You know what? Ooh, I have such a good question for you.
Okay.
If you could have done what Abbas did, what photo would you choose and what would you edit on top of it?
What photo would I choose?
Yeah, like if you could make the 25th frame, if you could make frame number 25, what would you do?
It could be a painting.
You do a painting?
Yeah.
And just like bring the painting to life?
Can I make a story from the painting?
Yeah, like I mean, like you could do like what the village painting did, where kind of like bringing all the little things to life slowly.
I thought a really cool one would have been a starry night.
Ooh.
That painting is so detailed, and obviously it's a very famous one. A lot of people talk about it, and I think you could make a lot of stories out of that one.
Yeah,
That's
a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
I think because, like I said, I really wanted more human-focused interactions within it. I think what I would have done for if I got to do a frame, I would have done a picture of white, like crumpled, like a nice duvet, like a nice crisp duvet cover, a little just crisp and like, you know, kind of balled up, like as if someone just got out of bed. And I would use shadows to maybe put on top maybe a couple kissing or a couple interacting of some sort and kind of use that on top of it. That's, like I said, that's just because I wanted more human interaction from it.
Yeah. See, these are all good ideas.
Mm-hmm. But I still stick with a 7 because like I said, it just kind of felt more like a Planet Earth type of thing at one point. But I still really do appreciate the meaning and overall the photography itself and the editing. The editing was done extremely well. I can't imagine how long it took to edit.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so next time we are going to be talking about In the Mood for Love.
Yay! I'm so excited. I've been wanting to watch this movie forever.
And I also added a short film to it because I want to make short films. And I feel like short films are always so underappreciated.
Agreed.
So whether we can add short films here and there, since we're now only recording once a week, maybe add 1 or 2 short films or even add another movie, whatever it may be. I just think it would make not only our podcast, like since it's only once a week, more diverse. It'll keep the same diversity level as we had it when we were recording 3 days a week.
Yeah.
But also, I love writing short films. I write short books and little shiznits and whatnot. So I feel like short films is definitely an art that is underappreciated. But the short film that we're going to be watching with it is a Chinese short film called Butter Lamp. Don't know what that's about, but it's called Butter Lamp and it's on the Criterion channel.
That's interesting. Is it a newer film?
I believe so. And you know what? I kind of realized I don't remember exactly what Butter Lamp was about, but I kind of realized at some point when I was going through our list, I was like, I should have switched Butter Lamp with A Gentle Night, because A Gentle Night is kind of like, it's more narrative, like obviously In the Mood for Love, but I think Butter Lamp involves photography.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
That's fine. We were going to get to it no matter what, so it's all good. I'm going to look up Butter Lamp right now.
I am really excited for In the Mood for Love. I'm really excited to see it finally.
I have never seen it either. Even though I'm Hong Kong certified, I never saw it because watching movies wasn't a requirement for the class. It was really just learning.
Did they talk about it?
So Butter Lamp is about a young photographer and his assistant taking photos of Tibetan monks.
Ooh, that could be cool.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. But what were you saying? I accidentally cut you off.
Did your certification talk about In the Mood for Love at all?
It did. We talked about Wong Kar-wai.
I'm excited. So you got to know you're the expert now.
Oh my God. I cram a course in like 1 week, and now I've become the leading expert on a podcast for Hong Kong cinema.
You have to.
Me having no blood or relation to Hong Kong itself. How fun. But yeah, I mean, I do want to get more into Hong Kong films and stuff. And sadly, like, full disclosure, and like just to put it out there, Criterion needs to step up their Hong Kong cinema game.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, you guys have In the Mood for Love. We need more John Woo films, especially because I wanted to see The Killer, and it's an out-of-print Criterion film.
Oh.
So, like, a bunch of John Woo films are out of print. But hopefully soon. Hopefully.
I would love that. I want to get into more Asian cinema to begin with. So that works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as always, speaking of Hong Kong, thank you, James.
Yay!
Always, we got to thank our homeboy, James. Why do we thank him? Because he is a Patreon subscriber. And if you would like to be thanked at the end of every episode and get cool nicknames like homeboy,
yeah,
I mean, come on.
You
subscribe
would get
to
your
Patreon.
very own nickname from us. We'd make it up ourselves.
And if you do not want to do the monthly, there are definitely other ways to support Purple Noon down below. And it's easy as sharing. It's easy as sharing, telling someone about us and saying, like, hey, these girls aight. That's all you gotta put.
That's
these
it.
girls aight.
Yeah.
Cool.
We don't need a lot.
Yeah. And then please, if you really know where I can get that apron, if someone can make me that custom apron, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since I've mentioned
We're gonna
it.
just make a separate post on our page, just talking about, hey guys, like I really need this.
I can't wait for the day. Like I'm manifesting this. We become big. We become like the Siskel and Ebert, but just us. You know, it's Conti and Lanausse, and we make it big. And then all of a sudden, a sweet little fan comes up to me and was like, I was there from the beginning, and I made you this.
Aww.
And what do we get? Matching aprons. That says Grillin' Dogs and Watch It Solo.
You know what that means if we get that, right? We gotta have we gotta have the barbecue.
We gotta have the barbecue. That will, because one of the things, so I definitely, because we've had the idea of when this, hopefully soon, when the pandemic ends, that we would definitely do like photography shoots of us.
Yeah.
In the style of movies. Now, I'm thinking, what if we take, and hear me out, this is coming right off the tongue right now, we take the movie Parasite, but do a grilling version. And it's us in the aprons.
Stephanie.
But in front of the Parasite house, if it's still up.
You want to... I don't even know what to say. Is that an insult to Parasite? Would they be upset?
No, it's an honor. It's an honor.
I mean, look, if anybody wants to give us the aprons, we gotta go from there. We gotta just target from there.
Is it just called manifestation, or is it manifest destiny, or was that the Andrew Jackson thing?
No, it's manifestation.
Okay. What was manifest destiny then?
That's like that was like from history.
I learned that in 8th grade, and I have not covered it since, but I still remember the term. All right. So thank you everyone for listening. But for realsies, I will leave my contact down below. I would assume my apron size would be a husky large.
No, I think medium.
What was that?
No, it's medium.
Medium. You'd be medium, maybe small, medium, for sure. But yeah, I'm serious about this. My contact information is down below. And yeah, if you can make this happen, thank you, and come our way, please do.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.